Kal Halal Yahweh, Basham Yahweh Shai, Basham Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles at Great Millstone, and salutes to you brothers teaching the word in sincerity and in truth. I'm gonna go right into it, and this like a commentary on this news clip here from 6 days ago on 8 News Now Las Vegas. So we're watching news, we're tying it in with the scriptures. What I'm gonna do is, I've not watched this. I've just watched this, how much you've seen, 20 seconds in. We're going to pull it up and we're going to hear what they're saying. So it says, UFO disclosure could trigger complex religious, the title. Let's see what it says.
Members of Congress are demanding answers about deep, dark secrets hidden inside the vast national security apparatus secretly related to UFOs. New witnesses are being called to a public hearing that's set for next month.
One of the largest UFO programs ever funded by the government was based right here in Las Vegas, and nearly everything produced by that program is still hidden away.
8 News Now Chief Investigator George Knapp spoke with one of its central figures, scientist and author Dr. Jacques Vallée.
And just saying, well, just, disclose, doesn't answer any of that. Okay.
Jacques Vallée has been a central figure in UFO research and debate for more than 6 decades. He's often been at odds with UFO orthodoxy, was among the first to argue that the unknown craft seen for centuries in our skies and oceans may not be from other planets, but from other realities. He's heard the demands for an end to official secrecy many times, and at the same time has participated in secretive efforts himself, including a UFO study launched by the Defense Intelligence Agency in 2008 and hidden inside a Las Vegas aerospace.
Yeah, all these across the America, the UK, they got these UFO, pretty much UFO archives and databases and organizations monitoring and just watching so-called UFO, unidentified object, or he's got another one, certain area phenomenon, UAPs, but they've got all that, and pretty much through the spirit, man, the Lord has, got us revealing what they really are in this time here, where we're coming to the end. So the information, because they was all saying, yeah, UFOs, and there was documentaries where they was pretty much saying that UFOs are the chariots of the Most High, because that's exactly what they are. But pretty much, right, you got all these files, man, and the files are the releasing files and all this, and then, but they're really not showing you what's really going on. And that's why through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Shai, we reveal what they are. And by the way, Yahweh Shai will come back in what is known as the clouds, the chariots, which is the ships. Let's get that real quick. Revelation 1 and 7. And behold, he cometh with clouds, and clouds of UFOs, chariots. And that's why I said that in these times, the last days, we're revealing what these things are. Matter of fact, in slavery, they knew what they were. They used to sing, swing low, speak chariots, coming forth to carry me home. What are the chariots? The chariots in the sky, the so-called UFOs. The chariots in the sky. They're known as chariots, clouds, in the scriptures, right? A wheel within a wheel. What's that? A flying saucer, right? That's what they call a flying saucer. That's their word. But they make the great ships. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him. And they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Yahweh Shai is going to come back in the UFOs, and the same people, reincarnations in the Bible, the same ones that pierced him on the cross, right? They're going to have to deal with that. They're going to have to get judged for that. Now, they call them spaceships, right? We're in the waters, the firmament. So just like you ever see a ship on the sea, condensed water, or the firmament, the atmosphere is water too. So it's just not it's just different density. So the UFOs are going through the waters, right? So that's heavy because that's why they call them space ships, right?
Company. One focus of the DIA's OSAP effort was and is genuinely disturbing: the real-life health consequences for humans who come into contact with UFOs. Hundreds of serious injuries have been documented. OSAP investigators traveled to Brazil to obtain government files related to hundreds of Brazilians treated for injuries after being targeted by UFOs. Dr. Valet won't discuss specific OSAP files except for cases he provided to the database, injuries which he says were not accidental.
So I can tell you that in my files, some of which I contributed to the database, there are at least half a dozen well-documented cases where the injuries that resulted in death were deliberate.
Incidents in which UFOs deliberately cause physical harm to humans are rare, according to personnel who have seen the full OSAP files, but they do occur. Dr. Colm Kelleher, one of OSAP's managers, has said bluntly that UFOs are bad for human health. Could that be a reason to keep secrets? If there is some kind of non-human intelligence here, the secrecy starts with them. But governments, in particular the U.S. government, have created multiple other levels of secrecy.
The atomic secrecy, primarily.
Well, the chariots are coming for destruction. The top elites of the society are aware of that. They're coming for judgment. That's why they've got the weaponization of space. They actually try and shoot UFOs and things like that. And that's in let's get that. Let's get was it Zephaniah? Zechariah, I think. Zechariah 5:1. And I'm gonna get to the point here. 5:1. Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. And he said unto me, what seest thou? And so the flying roll is the ship, the flying saucer, the spaceship. The intergalactic ship. People, it's a spaceship. They got a problem with whatever, the chariots. What do you want us to say, man? He said, that was just one scoffer geezer. He said unto me, what seest thou? And I answered, and I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. It's got these measurements, right? Biblical measurements. Then said he unto me, this is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. That's why when you watch the movies and stuff like that, like Independence Day and all that, the chariot destroys the White House and things like that. Because they're aware that it's the angels of the Most High, the eyes of the Lord. They're getting ready to bring judgment, so they do stuff, taunt his kingdom, disappear, reappear on satellites, mess with the army jets, all sorts of stuff, mess with his missile compounds. There's a lot going on, and that's why they ain't gonna tell you that. What the hell are they gonna tell you that? Okay, then he said unto me, this is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off as on this side according to it, and everyone that sweareth shall be cut off as on that side according to it. So people, you know, are gonna get judged, and swearing falsely is blasphemy. You know, like basically they've told lies on the one the world calls Jesus Christ. Yahweh Shai, they're gonna have to get done for that. And you know, the stealeth, you know, stole lands, stolen identities, all that sort of heavy judgment coming, especially on Babylon the Great, which represents America, which is, you know, major judgment for that place in the scriptures. It says, Zechariah 5:4, I will bring it forth, saith the Lord of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name, and it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber thereof and the stones thereof. Yep. So this is the house of the thief, America, right? This kingdom is going to enter in, as they're looking in the seeing the ships, they're like, oh my days, you know, and it's going to stay there till it's consuming. It's going to be burning it up, like in War of the Worlds. So there you go. So let's hear what else is.
Which most people in the Pentagon are not cleared for. And then the military secrecy and the strategic secrecy, and then the diplomatic secrecy.
In Dr. Vallet's most recent book, Forbidden Science, Scattered Castles, he shares private exchanges with colleagues from the OSAP program, including Las Vegas billionaire Robert Bigelow and a close-knit group of scientists nicknamed the Lone Stars. The scientists, some of them former CIA contractors, accept that the U.S. government has recovered crashed vehicles of unknown origin, that defense contractors have worked for decades to reverse engineer that technology at secretive facilities in the desert and elsewhere. They say adversary nations have done likewise. The race to duplicate that technology means national security.
The chariots didn't crash, man. This is BS. This is BS, man. It didn't crash. You know what I'm saying? Like this, the kind of technology we're talking about here is interdimensional. They said it themselves. Do you think that angels, like an angel doesn't get tired? You know what I'm saying? You can't catch an angel you can't grab an angel in a headlock. That just doesn't happen. These chariots can be the size of a planet and then shrink down to the size of a pound coin. So this is the kind of technology we're talking about, yeah.
Is at stake. Ballet favors transparency.
They keep talking about what the nations, what they're doing with. Esau's always trying to make his drones and his technology, like little things that he can put in the sky, like, you know, that ain't the chariots, all right.
But worries that an official declaration could prove chaotic.
So if we want to disclose something as simple as saying, yes, we acknowledge the phenomenon, and it seems to be from space, we would have to, once you do that, you have to answer 100 other questions. This is not the end. This is not the end of the story.
While Dr. Vallet is encouraged by the renewed interest in UFOs within Congress, mainstream media, and academia, he thinks someone needs to craft a well-planned strategy for how to unleash what would likely be the biggest news story in history.
I think we should disclose with a structure, and the structure hasn't been invented.
But, you know, people panic. You know, anything they do, they need to control. First of all, people are dumbed down in society. They don't think about stuff like that. You know, the most they think about is sitcoms, you know what I mean? They're not. People are really on a low level. They don't know how the money system works. Fiat currency, debt, the fact that it's all printed. You know, they just don't know what's going on. So this stuff will blow the brains.
Yet.
George Knapp, 8 News Now.
The DIA investigation based here in Las Vegas was supposed to last 5 years. Funding was cut off, though, after 27 months. But it did produce an enormous body of work, not one page of which has been made public 14 years after that program ended. And you can...
Yeah, I mean, who the hell knows what they... You know, Iwi dealing with here, you know, who the hell knows what the hell he's been doing, man. But you see the stuff that he's been doing, the weaponization of space, the fact that the chariots are real, the fact that it's angels in the chariots and they're aware of that, and basically they're gonna like try and attack the chariots, and all of that info. Do you think they can just come out and say that? So we're gonna see through the spirit. I mean, they're saying they're gonna release something, or they want to release. What we're gonna see. We're gonna see. But since all them UFO conferences and stuff like that, we haven't really heard much. But we're gonna see. We're gonna see what's gonna happen, what they're gonna do. So but anyway, we ain't dismayed at the signs of heaven. We're aware of what's going on. It's the UFOs, so-called UFOs are the chariots of the Most High. And we're going to be sent to deliver the elect saints of the nation of Israel, the 144,000, as pursuant to the book of Revelation. See, they can't tell you that either. They don't want you knowing that. That's why these things, bro, we can't tell them certain stuff, all right? So with that, Shalom.